Der nächste Vortrag wird auf Englisch gehalten. It's my great pleasure to introduce Hans Korteweg. Hans will talk to is from the European Union, from the COGEN Europe. Der COGEN Europe ist der Dachverband für KWK in Europa. Und er wird dazu sprechen über die Entwicklung der KWK in der EU und gibt uns eine Vision, wie es mit der KWK weitergeht bis 2050. Hans, it's your turn. Thank you that you're here and yeah, enjoy it.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. As I mentioned, my name is Hans Korteweg. I'm the Managing Director of COGEN Europe. I'm very pleased to be here at this Decentralized Energy Forum. And today, I want to share with you where we see cogeneration being part of the sustainable energy future. So, before we start, just a little bit about our organization. It may be new to you. So we are a typical trade association. We represent the cogeneration industry across Europe, but in particular in Brussels, and we aim to promote the benefits of cogeneration in Europe. We work with the EU institutions, so that means the European Commission, the European Parliament, and also national governments with their representations based in Brussels. We're a membership-based organization. We have over 50 members, so 13 national associations, including B.KWK here in Germany, as well as 40 other organizations, typically companies, multinationals, manufacturers, all the way to think tanks and research. We were established in 1993, so we celebrated 25 years of COGEN Europe last year. We're a non-profit. As I mentioned, we're based in Brussels, and we have a secretariat of 6 people. Here's just an overview of who we are in terms of our members. Our national members, they represent over 70% of the CHP capacity here in Europe. And we also, as I mentioned, also have corporate members covering the entire value chain from the manufacturing side to the utilities, the ESCOs, as well as the end users as well. So our mission really is to act as the cross-sectoral voice of the cogeneration industry in Europe, where we work with policymakers, politicians, civil servants, different stakeholders in Brussels to really shape policies that will support CHP across Europe and hopefully in member states as well. So the real reason I'm here today, and I'm very happy and excited, is to present our vision for the future of cogeneration in Europe. So before I start, a little bit about cogeneration. Some of you are probably experts and know more about it than I do. But this is just a recap for some of you. It's a very simple concept, single input. So cogeneration is fuel agnostic. You can use anything to fuel it. It could be hydrogen, it can be gas, solar thermal, geothermal, etc. So you have one input and you have 2 outputs where you produce simultaneously heat and electricity. And the best part is it's very efficient and you transform up to 90% of the potential energy into useful energy for heating and electrical purposes in buildings, offices, and homes, of course. So we're all about putting energy consumers at the center when it comes to cogeneration. You find cogeneration in iconic buildings. The European Commission headquarters in Brussels is actually powered and heated with cogeneration. Industry relies heavily on cogeneration, in particular for the high-grade, constant heat it needs in order to remain competitive. 90 million European households across Europe use district heating that comes primarily, largely from CHP. There are over 100,000 active energy consumers, so individuals, households, SMEs, commercial businesses that use CHP and are part of the energy system. Where we've gone to our members and we've asked them, where do they see the energy system in 2030, 2050? Where do they see CHP cogeneration in 2030, in 2050? And this was the result of extensive work over 18 months working with our members and external stakeholders. So where do they see CHP playing in the future energy system? Well, cogeneration will be at the center of it, where it saves energy for consumers, cuts carbon emissions, so helping energy efficiency, but also reducing emissions and use of energy, lowering energy costs, integrating or helping to integrate renewable energy. It's smart grid ready because it's decentralized. You don't need to reinforce the grids and spend a lot of money. Provides flexibility. Flexibility will be key in the future with a lot of intermittent wind and solar power, and CHP will have a pivotal role in providing that ready flexibility if and when needed. And of course, it empowers citizens and businesses to take control of their energy needs. So last year, COGEN Europe also worked with its members and came out with a very high-level visionary vision where we see cogeneration being committed, or the sector being committed to creating a resilient, decentralized, carbon-neutral energy system by 2050, where we see cogeneration acting as its backbone. Again, empowering European citizens, businesses where they can generate their own efficient, reliable, and affordable clean energy. It's a system integrator. It's bringing together heat, electricity, and gas networks. I'll talk a little bit about that after. It also provides a cost-effective transition to a sustainable future. So, as I mentioned, we see CHP being in the center of this future energy system and acting as a key local integration solution, bringing thermal systems, electrical systems, the gas systems for cities, households, businesses, and industry. And this role is growing now and will continue to grow in the future. Today, CHP provides 11% of electricity in Europe and 15% of its heat. It's already contributing towards the EU's 2020 targets of reducing CO2 emissions, increasing energy efficiency, and increasing the share of renewable energy. Today, the renewable share of CHP is already at 20%. It's doubled in the past decade from 10% to 20% and continues to grow. In 2030, and this is based on EU-funded projects where we were able to extrapolate the potential for CHP from an economic and technical perspective, and then based on those studies, we were able to project that with the right policies in place, CHP could provide 20% of electricity needs in Europe and up to 25% of heat needs in Europe. Again, contributing to the EU's 2030 goals, where cogeneration can contribute up to 23% of the EU CO2 reduction target, and also helping towards the EU's energy efficiency target. And in the case of the renewable share of CHP, we see that continuing to grow and could be up to a third by 2030. Now, in 2050, we project that the capacity of cogeneration in Europe will double in the electricity mix, where we see cogeneration being prioritized for all thermally generated electricity and heat. In this way, we avoid wasting valuable energy in 2050. And really, to surmise everything that I've just presented to you, I will like to show you a quick video, basically rehashing the vision we have for cogeneration in Europe today, tomorrow, and in the future. So if you want to know more about COGEN Europe or about our vision for the future, we have brochures. You can find us at K42/7. My colleague and I are there to answer any questions or ask questions, should you have any. This is just an opportunity to plug the largest Cogeneration conference in Europe. It's taking place in October in Madrid this year. So if you're interested to learn more about what we do with our members and what we discuss in terms of cogeneration, you're more than welcome to join us there. So on that note, thank you for your attention, and it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Very much. Oh, okay, now techniques works. Is there any question now? Well, Hans won't join our discussion round, so if you have a question now, please ask him. And if not, I say thank you. Thank you for your work, what you're doing in Europe. It's very important that you do this great work for the cogeneration. And yeah, everybody please support the COGEN Europe, because there's a lot of laws, a lot of things and rules are done in Brussels. So it's not only Germany what's important for the cogeneration. And yeah, please go on with your good work, and thank you very much again. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. I'll be around if you have any questions, and we're passionate about cogeneration. We're passionate about working with our members to promote CHP in Europe. So, thank you.